GM, everybody, welcome to another installment of the DeFi Defender. It is Friday, April 11th, brought to you by yours truly, Carlo D'Angelo, better known in the space as the DeFi Defender. Please don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter, The DeFi Defender, my podcast available on Spotify and Apple iTunes, Lexline. So, what is new in the world of crypto? Well, you know how we've always been clamoring for clarity as to how to come in and register. We had that ongoing issue with the SEC where Gary Gensler kept telling people who were building in the crypto sector, why don't you just come in, register, talk to us? But we never had any clarity on how exactly to do that. Well, we finally have got some clarity. The Securities and Exchange Commission, through its Division of Corporation and Finance, has issued guidance. That guidance came out yesterday. Let's break it down briefly. So, the applicable takeaways from the guidance. The guidance applies to offerings and registrations under the Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, and it includes Forms S1, 10, 20F, and 1A. I know that's probably meaningless to a lot of you, but just basically this covers securities offerings under the Securities Exchange Act and the Securities Act. Issuers must provide disclosures tailored to their specific facts and circumstances, so it is on the issuer to provide a basic rough white paper sketch of their business plan, ensuring that material information is presented clearly and concisely. I love rules as a lawyer. Just give me rules that I can follow and I will help you build. The problem has been in this sector that we've had to basically navigate blindly with no rules. So this is really refreshing. One of the key points, description of business. Issuers should offer a narrative description of the material aspects of their business, including the current stage of development and future plans. That's easy. Specific business activities related to crypto networks or applications. Also easy, because if you don't have that together as a startup, or if you're launching a token, then you really need to get that together before you take anything to the SEC. Revenue generation strategies and the role of any associated crypto assets. Risk factors, another consideration in the disclosure guidance. Disclosures must address material risks, which may include technical and cybersecurity risks, legal and regulatory uncertainties. Hey, that's what the crypto lawyers are for. Finally, the crypto lawyers have an opportunity through this process to be able to engage with the SEC and have a very blunt, candid conversation about these legal and regulatory uncertainties, how to overcome them, to get to whether there is a security offering or not here. Market volatility and liquidity concerns. Obvious why that would be included, because obviously we've seen a lot of issues with respect to liquidity disappearing from token launches and ending up in rug pulls, and I think the SEC wants to be very cautious about that. Operational dependencies on other networks or applications. Description of securities, next major key section. Issuers are required to provide a comprehensive description of the securities being offered, rights and obligations, details on dividends. If you're launching something that is paying a dividend, then you're probably careening into the realm of a security under the Howey test, and you probably need to go through this with a qualified crypto lawyer and talk about whether you need to go through this disclosure and registration process. So dividends, voting rights, profit sharing, and enforcement mechanisms. Technical specifications is also included in this subcategory. Information on the underlying technology, including the smart contract, consensus mechanisms, and transaction processes. This is so refreshing to see, because this is the SEC wanting to have a candid conversation about how your tech works, and the guidelines will then, I think, be catered specifically to what you're trying to launch, as opposed to the constant trying to fit the square peg in the round hole approach and then getting hit with a regulatory enforcement action because your square peg is never going to fit in the SEC's round hole, so to speak. I know that got a little weird. Okay, now, supply and distribution. Rules governing total supply, minting process, vesting and lockup provisions. All fair asks. Exhibits, any instruments defining the rights of the security holders, because again, if you are offering something that is more than just a utility token, a meme coin, something that's going to be providing value to holders in the way of dividends or potential opportunities for airdrops, et cetera, and so forth, the SEC is going to want to talk to you and they're going to want to see. So they want to know what the rights are of the securities holders, including smart contract code. And this must be filed as an exhibit in support of your registration, and it should reflect any changes. Financial statements. Okay, so in typical SEC filings, you've got major disclosure requirements. No surprise that if you're talking about a potential security that crosses the line, I should say a potential digital asset that crosses the line into a securities offering, issuers must include a financial statement that complies with applicable requirements, may consult with the SEC's Office of the Chief Accountant for guidance on complex or innovative transactions. So that's essentially what the SEC's announcement covers. We know we have another SEC crypto roundtable going down today. More conversation about how to safely build in this space, how to create a sandbox where we can now have rules of the road for how to properly launch tokens that may cross that line into a security. And now lawyers are finally getting a roadmap on how to give good, sound advice to clients. So all in all, I think this is an amazing development for the space. I'm very excited. I hope everyone has an excellent Friday. Let's just all take a breath and hopefully let this tariff thing work out. And let's hopefully see some stability within both securities, equities, and crypto markets. Let's hope that we don't have any earth-shattering news. And I hope everyone goes into the weekend with some good positive vibes. Again, thank you for tuning in to the DeFi Defender. Don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter on Substack, the DeFi Defender. If you have not already given me a follow on X at the DeFi Defender, please do so. And don't forget, I run LexLine Podcast where I interview builders, innovators, and creators in this space. I want to learn from them so that I can better advise clients going forward on how to build in this space and talk about what they're building, because my curiosity for this stuff is what drives me to put out this content every day. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, have a wonderful day, and I'll come at you soon with more of the latest in legal and crypto regulatory updates.